podcast. I am Dr. Kyla Prusak, principal at Minett Elementary, and I'm excited to share with you the voices of real educators who are living this work. When I think about the greatness that is happening every day in schools all over the world, I feel compelled to do a small part in helping others understand the many facets of the work we do. We hope our listeners will be able to gain an inside look as we pull back the curtain. Today on the podcast, we will be talking with Whitney Wells about co-teaching.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Whitney. So you are the assistant principal at Minett Elementary School.
That's right.
Tell us about what a day looks like for you.
Well, I would say when I'm thinking about a school day, no day is the same. So it was really hard to pinpoint. When I was thinking about that question, I was thinking, man, what does my day look like? And I asked some people, like, what do I do all day? Because every day is a little bit different. But something that we do most days that I love is we start by saying good morning to every single staff member. And that's one of my favorite things. Kyle and I walk the school together and we tell everyone good morning, even if it's quick, or sometimes we stop and linger and we have to get each other back on track. But that's something that I do. And then after that, we have most days we have collaborative planning, and that's where teams come in and they collaborate together and they plan different things. And sometimes different grade levels come in together, and I really like that time too. And then throughout the day, there's just different meetings, there's team plannings, there's leadership planning, but then also something that I get to do is support teachers with behavior and relationship building within their own team and their co-teaching partnership and with kids and families. So that's kind of, I guess, a summary.
Yeah.
Did I cover it all?
You're busy.
I think I covered it all. Oh, sometimes we do cover lunch duties and things. That's kind of new. We've implemented that this semester to give teachers more time off. So sometimes I pop into lunch and things.
Awesome. Well, I said our topic today was co-teaching, and you talked about that already a little bit. So I often get asked if Minett is a, quote, open school.
Yes.
So explain how our classrooms are structured.
I think I've even said that to someone before. Is that even the right term? Open school? I don't think that's even the right term.
Because we have walls.
Yeah, there are walls. There are doors. But most of the walls are actually glass, so you can see through. So it does seem very, very open, and it is open because a lot of the walls and doors retract and you can open them. And yeah, but anyway, so open school really is where learning and teaching is more individualized, I would say. So we use a co-teaching model. So teachers all have a co-teacher, and they are in the same, I guess, room. I say that with air quotes because they don't have to stay in their classroom to teach, but they're in the same learning space with that co-teacher, and they plan together, and they can decide kind of where they want to teach and how they want to teach using space flexibly. And then kids can do the same thing as a learner. They can choose their learning space, within reason. They're not going to, if they want to go have their learning space be on the playground, we'd probably say not. Maybe choose a different one that's better for you. But there's all kinds of little nooks, medium rooms, small rooms, large rooms, the commons, which is our main area kind of in the middle of the building with lots of flexible seating. So the teachers did a really good job this year of training and teaching the kids what kind of learner they are. So now that we're in January, they're really good about picking out their learning space and knowing what's best for them as a learner. So that's really fun to see.
Well, I want to talk about something you recently did. So you recently teamed up with our instructional coach, Alex Ketterer.
Yes.
And you guys went through the planning and delivery of a writing lesson using one of the co-teaching models. So tell us how that process went.
So Alex and I were talking. This is kind of how it started. Alex and I were talking, and because we get a lot of co-teaching questions from the teachers. How does it work? What is this right? Is that right? Because we are piloting, I guess, essentially this new way of doing things. So Alex and I were like, well, if we are going to answer questions on co-teaching, we have to be co-teaching, because then how else would I know? I came from a traditional classroom, so I could only imagine or dream up or read research and articles about co-teaching. So we got together and we decided we were going to go through the planning process and then teach the lesson and let teachers watch us and record us and kind of go about that. So Alex and I got together. We picked up a writing lesson from a 3rd grade classroom and just did the next day. And we got together and we planned groups. We planned who was going to do the mini lesson. And if we want to do, there's lots of ways to co-teach. You can have one lead teacher for that mini lesson and the other teachers kind of walking around monitoring and interjecting. You can do it in tandem where you're both kind of sharing the responsibility. So we decided we want to do it kind of in tandem together. And so I was going to start, she was going to do the teach point. Then I was going to kind of come in with a little story kind of a thing, and she was going to end it. And then we were going to break off and and that was just really the connect. We did the connect with all 40 plus kids, and we did that together. Then we broke off and I delivered a mini lesson to one group and she delivered a mini lesson to another. Then from there, they went off and did independent work and we conferred with kids and did small groups. So, but the most, I guess, eye-opening thing about that process was Alex and I sat around the table and planned what we were going to say, materials and the whole thing, just like teachers do every day. And then we looked at our clocks and we were like, wow, that took 45 minutes of our day. And so I kind of stopped and I said, well, so this was one content area, one day for one class. And that's what we're asking our teachers essentially to do for every content area, every day. And, granted, we didn't know the kids, there's little factors that play into that time. So we wanted to really just get a full understanding of how the planning of the co-teaching planning itself was really, really important part of the process. And that just got us going down a rabbit trail of teachers need more time. Mm-hmm. And so that's when you and I and our leadership team decided, okay, we have to be creative with our schedule and with our downtime, any downtime we might have, and how we can support and give time back to teachers. So it's been a huge learning process because we loved it. We had a good time. We had fun with it. We played off of each other really well, but the planning was a challenge. And so it was very eye-opening. Just all of the little things that it takes to get a co-teaching lesson running. And I'm sure if we did it every day, it would go faster. Mm-hmm. But that's what our teachers are doing all the time. And so that was really, really fun to see and experience and then have that authentic conversation with teachers and staff about how that went.
I love that you both did that because what a message that you sent to our teachers that you guys are willing to get in the trenches and do the work with them and, try to walk a day in their shoes. So kudos to you guys. And I love what your reflections allowed us to, how it allowed us to change and refine some things.
Yeah, it was fun. We had a good time.
So lastly, clearly I can tell when you're sharing that you believe in this co-teaching model and you're really seeing the benefits of it. Mm-hmm. What would you say are the one or two key factors that will help make co-teaching successful?
I think the first thing, there's lots of things obviously, but I think the first and most important thing is that teacher buy-in. You have to have two teachers who are willing to try, willing to essentially fail, because there's a lot of trial and error that has happened this first year that we've gone through. So I just think teacher buy-in is really important. They have to know the purpose and the why behind co-teaching and behind a quote-unquote open school or letting kids choose their learning spaces and being more flexible. So I think that's an important one. Definitely trial and error. You try something, it doesn't work. You try something again, it doesn't work. You just keep trying and you keep trying new things. And from that is trust, because without that trust with your co-teacher and with your leadership, you're not going to want to try and fail. You'll feel like failing is a failure. But here I feel like if something doesn't work out, it's not really a failure. It's just that didn't work out, and you can share kind of with your team your results, and you learn from it, and you keep going. Definitely communication. I think that's been the biggest eye-opener. I think I work a lot with co-teachers and teams, and just troubleshooting any little challenge that might arise in the day. And so a lot about how to communicate, when to communicate, appropriate communication and healthy communication, because sometimes there's hard conversations you have to have. I mean, just when you're working closely with anyone and you're both coming with ideas and things that you want to do or things that you've done in the past, that communication is really important. And it's just a give and take. Co-teaching is just a give and take. You have to be willing to change a little bit and adjust and let go of what you want and what you think is best and what's best for the team and all the kids. And that can be hard. So, but yeah, I think those are some important ones.
I often call it, having a roommate, and as I hear you talk, I think it's like a marriage.
Yeah.
You're living every single day in this space with this partner, and it's pretty cool to watch the relationships that are being built with teachers, but then also with even more kids, because we have bigger class sizes, because 2 teachers. So lots of fun to watch how it's unfolding so far.
Oh yeah. It's really fun because a lot of these co-teachers, most of them, are becoming like really, really good friends. And so, and you can't help it because you hired really well. And so you hired people who want to be here and believe in this. And so it hasn't always been easy. Social media and things make it look like it's a perfect world, and it's not perfect, but it has been just overall really, really fun. And the teams and the co-teachers that have put in that hard work with the hard conversations and opening up and willing to try and willing to communicate, they, in the beginning of the year, doing that, they are now seeing the fruit of that labor. Whereas a really tight-knit relationship, things are running really well. And they're seeing the success of their kids in their academics and in their social emotional learning. And so, yeah, it's fun. It's fun to watch.
That's what it's all about, the kids.
That's right.
Well, Mrs. Wells, on our podcast, we like to end each episode with a little fun. So today, we're going to play the game, Would You Rather?
Uh-oh.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So, recess duty or lunch duty?
Recess. 1,000%. Get me outside. I need some fresh air.
Flare pens or Mr. Sketch markers?
Mr. Sketch markers. Maybe because I'm always looking for one. I don't know. But yeah, I love Mr. Sketch markers.
Hey, lined sticky notes or unlined sticky notes?
What do you think I'm going to choose?
You're going to choose lined.
Unlined.
Me too. I'm unlined as well. Okay, winter break or summer break?
Summer.
Same.
I know you're a summer person.
Yep. Okay, this one is going to be, we're going to take it back home.
Okay.
Do the laundry or do the dishes?
I'm going to have to say dishes because the laundry situation at my house is a constant struggle. So dishes at least go quicker. Laundry is like an all-day thing.
Well, I will tell you, you're just a couple weeks from becoming a new mom.
That's
and
right.
So just know that when your little precious bundle of joy gets here, laundry will be
exploding.
Even more. So
that's just great to hear.
Yeah.
I better get it under control quickly.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being our very first guest on the Minett podcast. We learned so much from you, and it's just so great to hear you share a little bit about your experiences so far at Minett, and we look forward to having you visit again.
Yeah, I loved it. Thanks for having me on. This is a dream job. I love it. Every day is seriously great. So, because of our great leader. So, thanks. It's been fun.